I'm about to give you the secret, the jewel in the crown, to why Donald Trump decisively won this historic 2016 presidential election and is now president-elect number 45. Man, that's got a good ring, doesn't it? Are you ready? I'll give you the jewel in the crown and then the accompanying accoutrement on the sides, the smaller jewels. Are you ready? Because this secret, deployed against the rest of this corrupt power structure, will bring them down and restore our republic. The internet is what killed the New World Order globalist establishment, and is why their program of tyranny is declining in Russia, Europe, the United Kingdom with Brexit, and now with shocking results, supposedly to them, here in the United States. The internet, coupled with delusion, this marriage, this Congress, is what brought us to this point. Think about it. The internet already is hundreds and hundreds of times bigger than all the entertainment news combined on broadcast and cable transmitted and satellite TVs. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times the traffic. And the political traffic on the internet is 50, 100 times. I don't know. It's just so huge. They just corrected me that it wasn't 60 million earlier. They went and did the numbers. I guess I had to check since this morning. 100 million, not counting terrestrial radio, that we have 3.5 million rated when the ratings come in from our affiliates. But our internet success is so big that we just got like 60 more affiliates the last few months. So we're over 230 right now. And it's not about InfoWars bragging. If this ragtag operation is kicking the entire cable news system's ass up and down the road, when they're spending billions of dollars in the aggregate and have all these beauty queen tarts up there spreading their legs, you can't cover up this fraud with a little bit of sugar. So having bimbos on there, it'd mean we're swallowing the cyanide. And when I talk about the hubris, the delusion of the delusionites, they've known for years that not just InfoWars, but a constellation of liberty sites like DrudgeReport.com and others dwarfed them already. And it isn't just InfoWars that exploded the last few months. Drudge is now not just bigger than Facebook and Twitter and all this, and the New York Times combined. It's bigger than like the entire mainstream media, just in traffic. And it's two people running it. So think about that. This is how pathetic these people are. And we have to celebrate the fact that they're pathetic and they're known traitors and they're jokes, because they're all scared up there going, the pollsters actually weren't wrong, and we don't lie to you, and we have a big audience, and we love you. Here's a woman with big breasts. Show your legs, baby. Paul Ryan likes you. He doesn't want your guns or open borders, and he didn't say you couldn't nominate Trump. He didn't say that there wasn't any free elections. They're hoping you go back to sleep, but you're not asleep. So the big secret is they're still up there wondering why they have no ratings, wonder why they're going bankrupt, wonder why they're all shrinking, wonder why the New York Times is collapsing, and they still don't get it. They have no audience, and just because they have the fanciest suits and the biggest teleprompters doesn't mean anybody takes what they say seriously, and no one's even tuning into them to go back and regurgitate their talking points out. I go to forums that don't even deal with politics, and everybody gets exactly what's happening. I walk down the street, people get it. Now, sure, about a third of the public can't tie their shoelaces, and they're long gone, George Soros controlled. But a large group of people, a majority now, are awake. And here's what's scary to the establishment. They're getting awake a lot faster. So barring launching a big war, barring a total stock market collapse, which we're already headed towards, barring societal breakdown, they're not going to be able to organize and keep themselves in power. And even a societal breakdown will only blow up in their face. There's nothing they can do. Elites always believe they're invincible. They always believe they're unstoppable. So you have the big jewel, the internet, and their own delusion. Instead of admitting they've lied in the last decade as their credibility collapsed, they began to double and triple down, making fun of us, laughing at us, saying we're pathetic, saying we wear tinfoil hats. That's all they've got is this Carnival Barker scam to act like we're the ones with no credibility, and he's that Alex Jones, that nut on the internet. I am so proud we're self-made in a market of ideas coming from local radio and Access TV 21 years ago. I like my grassroots bona fides. But you're all from trashy families, social climbers, who went and sold yourselves out to the elite. I go study most of these talk show hosts and most of these movie people and most of these politicos, and man, they come from families where their dad was a con artist and their mom was involved in weird stuff, and and nothing bad about this, but failures and swindles and scams, and the elite went and found a bunch of trash. Most of the people out here aren't trash. You come from a family of plumbers. They're good, honorable, hardworking folks. You're good people. You put them in power, they do a great job. Ranchers, police officers, whatever the case is. But you look at the political class, they're all these wannabe nouveau riche trash who are sociopathic, narcissistic, empty, totally dishonorable. So they were typecast and picked to be the cacophony of parrots, to sit up there repeating the same thing over and over again, so we would all feel like we were alone when we thought, well, I thought tax cuts helped, or I thought family was okay, or I thought guns were all right for self-defense, or gee, they just don't seem to get that good people defend themselves. Of course they get it. They're a ruling class of filth trying to capture the greatest nation on earth. And then I realized good people never brag about their families. Good people don't ever just think what good folks they come from or what their ancestors did, or they don't even go look into it. And then I went and looked into my family and all the things they did. I mean, I don't go back to the founding of the country, the Mayflower, Texas independence. I mean, at the detonator level of it with Andrew Jackson. I mean, my family was detonator level. On my mom's side, complete, absolute detonator. Original funding, everything. And you bet it was a covert operation. You better believe it. And then it goes right through to my grandfather, who's back from World War II and runs as a Republican for desegregation and then works with Eisenhower in his little county and has the Klan come after him. So I can be called Klan today by a bunch of racist Mexicans with Mexican flags acting like jackasses. I mean, I just realized, of course I'm fighting tyranny. Of course I'm not out to screw people. Of course I'm not trash. And Trump's the same. You don't start a fight with Trump, you don't get one. He's for prosperity. He does hard-nosed deals. But he does want to bring back this republic, and that's why that swamp of trash and filth and scum are coming after him. And if he thinks Megyn Kelly and little twinkle eyes, Paul Ryan, aren't going to stab him in the back when they're trying to act friendly now, he's crazy. They're just holding back because at a metaphysical level, they come from filth. You look them up, they come from trash. And they inherently have an instinct of trash because they are trash. And to them, the jewel of America and hijacking it and raping it and destroying it attracts them. George Soros, the Saudis, the communist Chinese leaders, these are bad people. They have to be recognized as who they are, wanting to conquer greater men and women. So now you've seen the big secret. You already knew it. You know I'm telling you the truth. It's the internet. It's bigger. It's there. It's the people. We've broken with mainstream news. We don't buy a word they say. They can't ever put it back in the bottle again. We're going back to basic Americana and what worked in free market, not something like they're saying they don't know where they're going or where they're doing. Yes, they do. They've rediscovered liberty. We've rediscovered it. We've promoted it. Ron Paul's promoted it. Countless others have promoted it. And so now we're selling what works, what feels good, what's honorable, what's true, what's historical, what our forebears did. And it's spiritually, metaphysically clicking in all of us as the spirit of America comes back from the dead. That we do the hanging. We run the show. We build the ships. We fought the wars. We planted the crops. We took care of the kids. We went in the mines. Not you. You've taken this country and pissed all over it. And now in your arrogance, you still think you can con us. Even though we've already beaten you so many times, despite the fact you rigged the whole thing and had countless funny money from your foreign Federal Reserve. But in that crown are a few other jewels. Their arrogance, their delusion, the internet's the big stone. There's so many other facets to it, and I think you can all recognize what the other reasons Trump won. People waking up worldwide, the globalist excesses, being so arrogant they appoint presidents in Europe and bankrupt countries. No, really. I mean, what are other jewels in the crown that brought Trump in? His stamina, his courage, his will, the people supporting him, the Nigel Farage, whistleblowers, the rise of the new media in this internet system, and the vacuum the media created by standing down and being so evil. The truth is, history's happening, but we've retaken a beachhead. We're winning the overall war, but now we have to drain the swamp, and we cannot sit here and just roll over and out of these people because they are scum, they are trash, they must be prosecuted, justice must be done. They wanted to shut down the internet, shut off talk radio, go after peaceful people, persecute the media. Obama sits there all arrogant like he's this big humanitarian when the border is wide open and our country's collapsing and the health departments are going under and he's on vacation 5 months out of the year. It's time to fully. It's kind of like you eat some poison food and you vomit part of it up. You feel a little better, but you need to get it all out. We've got about a third of the vomit out, a third of the poison. We know there's more poison. We got to get it out. We got to drink some fresh water. But in closing, sitting here thinking, I mentioned the jewel and the crown and the other stones that accompany it, but I didn't didn't mention the overall plan and this crown of idiocy that was placed upon these traitors' heads, and that's God. God moving through time, moving through history, sitting back 20 plus years, seeing where InfoWars came from, frustrated over the years, trying to build, trying to fight, trying to develop, and then right as it was needed at the final point, going into warp drive and absolutely energizing the planetary resistance. God is moving in all of us, and it is Jesus Christ that gets the final thanks in all of this, because as has been said a million times a million, the Lord works in mysterious ways, and the Lord works from the most common and simple of us to the most supposedly high up, because God knows it's the good men and women of this planet, of every race, color, and creed, that are the resistance.
A bizarre commercial for insurance company AARP, described as one of the most powerful lobbying organizations in the United States, contains a bizarre subliminal message about martial law being declared in America. So first I'll play the commercial at normal audio levels. You'll notice a television news presenter in the background, but you won't be able to quite make out what he's saying. So here's the commercial at normal audio levels. And here's the commercial with the audio levels boosted and a transcript of what is being said by this TV news announcer. So the obvious question is, why is this subliminal message about martial law being declared by the president after an outbreak appearing in a public service announcement for caregiving put out by an insurance company? It has no place whatsoever within the context of the ad. And think about this. This had to be specifically created by the company to appear in this PSA. They couldn't use an actual segment from a TV news broadcast. A, because they would be concerned about copyright, and B, because no such news broadcast exists about the president declaring martial law in America after an outbreak. So they've deliberately put this in, and it's not going to be heard consciously, but it may be picked up subliminally by the viewer. I mean, what the hell is going on here? This is bizarre. And then, of course, we have the involvement of the Ad Council, which is the organisation that distributes these PSAs to be broadcast on television and radio. The Ad Council basically operates as a public relations arm of the US government. And according to history professor Robert Griffith, the Ad Council is now so closely tied at the hip with the White House that it now basically operates as, quote, little more than a domestic propaganda arm of the federal government. So we have PSAs being put out by one of the most influential lobbying groups in America, supported by the Ad Council, which is now operating as a propaganda arm of the US government, talking about the president declaring martial law in America. And this is subliminally embedded into a commercial about caregiving. So is it really any wonder that people are so concerned about martial law when this is happening amidst numerous National Guard, police and military drills across the country, where National Guard troops, US Army and police are training for civil unrest and domestic disorder in America, in anticipation of Jade Helm, the largest nationwide military exercise ever, during which US troops will operate undetected amongst local populations. And even those who dismiss conspiracy theories about martial law and civil unrest, you've got to admit that this is really bizarre. This martial law subliminal has no place within the context of this advert. It had to have been put in there deliberately. Why? Why has this been put in this PSA commercial for AARP, backed by the US government-linked Ad Council? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Check out the other videos, subscribe to the channel.
I'm about to give you the secret, the jewel in the crown, to why Donald Trump decisively won this historic 2016 presidential election and is now president-elect number 45. Man, that's got a good ring, doesn't it? Are you ready? I'll give you the jewel in the crown and then the accompanying accoutrement on the sides, the smaller jewels. Are you ready? Because this secret, deployed against the rest of this corrupt power structure, will bring them down and restore our republic. The internet is what killed the New World Order globalist establishment and is why their program of tyranny is declining in Russia, Europe, the United Kingdom with Brexit, and now with shocking results, supposedly to them, here in the United States. The internet, coupled with delusion, this marriage, this Congress, is what brought us to this point. Think about it. The internet already is hundreds and hundreds of times bigger than all the entertainment news combined on broadcast and cable transmitted and satellite TVs. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times the traffic. And the political traffic on the internet is 50, 100 times. I don't know. It's just so huge. They just corrected me that it wasn't 60 million earlier. They went and did the numbers. I guess I hadn't checked since this morning. 100 million, not counting terrestrial radio, that we have 3.5 million rated when the ratings come in from our affiliates. But our internet success is so big that we just got like 60 more affiliates the last few months. So we're over 230 right now. And it's not about InfoWars bragging. If this ragtag operation is kicking the entire cable news system's ass up and down the road, when they're spending billions of dollars in the aggregate and have all these beauty queen tarts up there spreading their legs, you can't cover up this fraud with a little bit of sugar. So having bimbos on there, it'd mean we're swallowing the cyanide. And